as you may know, we are doing Story of the World 1, which is Ancients this year. This is our second time going through the cycle, and I'm enjoying it. This time I know some of the resources and activities that I want to do, and which ones I don't, so that has been helpful. We are combining it with Biblioplan's Ancient study as well, and we are enjoying that. The resources I'm going to share with you today are resources that we've either recently read or are getting ready to read. We are in chapter 7 for Story of the World for reference, since I didn't want to accumulate a year's worth of resources at one time to show you. So I'm just going to put out different parts as we're going along. So if you are interested, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss other ones. I also have a Story of the World playlist, and I will be creating a playlist specifically for Ancients. So be sure to check all of that out. The first two resources I'm going to share with you are ones that are not specific to ancient Egypt, but are ones that we are using this year. This one I shared in a haul this summer. It's called Mysteries in History, Ancient History, and by Teacher Created Resources, and it has just a variety of mysteries, and each one takes you through helping your kids to learn about that mystery. So this one, the first page is just the lesson plan, first couple pages, and it has it broken down by a week's worth. We won't do it over a week. I will kind of scale it down to 1, maybe 2 days. But these, we have not done one of these yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fun way to kind of dig into various topics. So there's that. And this one is History Pockets. My confession is that I actually bought this for the first time we did it, and we did like 2, and then I never did more. Partly because I needed to photocopy these for for Ben, and I never did. And now one of the ones that are specifically for ancient Egypt. This is called Dig, and it's a magazine by Cricket Media, who puts out like Cobblestone. I love this magazine. And each issue focuses on something in history. So, and it's the whole thing is, I've got all kinds of great articles, and then towards the back they have shorter things. There's a fiction piece. It's just I really love it. I will be doing a spotlight on this and this magazine and Ask magazine, which is by the same company, very shortly. So be sure to look for that video. This is great. Now this one is obviously more just science in general. Deserts, we had this from when we were stationed in El Paso. But so we'll just kind of go through this, and we won't read all of it, but we will read parts talking about different desert stuff. Next one is The First Dog by Jan Brett, a fictionalized story of how wolves became dogs. Story of Kip. Very nice story. Nice illustrations. I love Jan Brett's illustrations. And pretty quick read. So my boys enjoyed that one. Next two are more in the You Wouldn't Want to Be series. You Wouldn't Want to Be an Egyptian Mummy, discussing things you'd rather not know, and You Wouldn't Want to Be a Pyramid Builder, a hazardous job you'd rather not have. We've read several in this series. And they're really good. My daughter never really liked them, but my boys love them. They have really good information written at a child's level, but not talked down to. Not real simplified, or they don't leave out details and such. So they're really good. We've enjoyed them. If you're interested in other titles, you can kind of see what else there is. There are quite a few. There's a few not on here that we've read. Next one is one I saw over on Pepper and Pine's channel and found it through our library system. It's Food and Cooking in Ancient Egypt. I didn't mention all these titles will be linked below. So this one talks more about what cooking, like how they cooked and what foods they cooked. There are a few recipes in here. There's a date balls one, a dukkha dip, there's a chicken kebab, which we are actually going to make next week, I think. That one. Well, it's a pretty quick read, but we're enjoying it. We haven't finished it yet. Next one is The Time Traveler's Guide, Egyptian 10. We have not... There are others in this series, but this is the first time I've read one in this series. Let's see the table of contents there. They give you a map, and then they talk about... It's really set up like a travel guide is. So after the map, they go into in depth in more of each of those. And then at the end, they talk about things like how you get around, what you should wear. It was fun to me to see how they did that in the back. Like what gifts you should get. That was a fun way to do that, since I love travel guides. To visit, we will check. We'll look for others in this series, because I think it was a nicely well done thing. A little simplified. No, a lot simplified, but still a nice kind of overview. And the next one is Bible Lands, a DK book. These are, of course, fantastic. DK books always have wonderful photos in them. Let's see what table of contents is, and we're just picking out pages to go, not necessarily ones that correspond with what we're actually reading, but we just look at a page or two a day with them. Next one is Pyramid by David Macauley. That name may sound familiar to you because I've talked about last year several times this book, The New Way Things Work. This is a fantastic, fantastic book. Specifically if you are doing physics, but just in general. This is great. I bought it used. There is a one more updated book since then that came out last fall, I believe. Last October. So, he took his style from here and applied it to pyramids. This is done fantastic. It's written somewhat like a storybook, but with really great details and explanations of how things work. I had no idea how pyramids were really built and put together, and the level of planning and I've always been amazed by that with pyramids, but after reading this, I am even more amazed. This is kind of meaty. Even though there's not a lot of words on a page, it took us a while to get through it. But the pictures are fantastic. He just does a really great job. He has many he's written, and they're great. But there's like castle and cathedral and towns and whatever. So I will link him below. Like I said, all the titles will be below. But these are really, really great books. So if you're studying something other than ancients this year, be sure to just check him out for whatever else you may be studying. And then the last one is also a general resource that I forgot to include, and it is All Through the Ages. I have a spotlight video on this, so if you're interested in more information on this one, take a look on there. But it's, as you can see, mine's falling apart. I bought it used from someone, and anyway, it lists books chronologically all through the ages. So they have it broken down by time. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, it's broken down by time periods, and then within each time period, it's broken down by more specific parts, as well as by grade levels, and then by fiction, non-fiction, etc. So like I said, I will include the link to the spotlight video on it, but it's a really, really great resource, obviously through any history period that you are studying. So there's the first in the series of resources that we are using for ancient history this year. Be sure to check out the playlist and the other links below for this. All the titles will be down there as well. If you have a book that you use during ancient history time period, whether it's Egypt or something else, I'd love for you to leave me a title. Always looking for other great ones, whether it's a fiction or a non-fiction. Audiobooks especially. I don't have a lot of audiobooks this year for history, so I would love that. Recommendations as well. Thanks for watching.